Hi guys, it's the Island Girl and I'm back with another one, and today I'm checking out 7 free things in the UK that cost money in the USA. And this is coming from an American that lives in the UK, and this is Girl Gone London. The link will be in the description below for you to go over to check this video out. Tell her your Island Girl sent you. So welcome if you're new here. To all my regulars, mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for always being here with your girl. Let's get straight into this video. I'm assuming she's going to talk about the NHS, education, go into different museums, because I was like, what? These are free? That's unheard of. But let's hear where she's going with this one. Let's get into this video. Here we go right about now.
For the supposed land of the free, there's a lot in the US that isn't free. And maybe that makes sense for a capitalist society, but then I started thinking about my new home, the UK, and I was like, wait, how can the UK make these things free, but the US can't? In fact, I think the only thing I could think of that's free in the US that's not in the UK
refills
is
and water.
Refills. In this video, we're talking about 6 things that are free in the UK that aren't free in the USA. And funnily enough, I think this topic will blow the minds of more Americans than it does Brits. It certainly did for me when I first moved to the UK in 2012. Number 1, the NHS, or healthcare being free at the point of use. Perhaps the most iconic example of a public service that is free in the UK but not in the USA is the National Health Service. Established in 1948, the NHS was founded on the principle that healthcare should be free at the point of delivery and funded instead by general taxation. This means that UK residents can visit general practitioners, access hospital care, undergo surgery, receive maternity services, and so much more without ever receiving a bill. I used to work in a setting in the UK that required helping out university students, and I vividly remember an incident where one of them, an American, was having a medical crisis. We immediately went to call for an ambulance, and this person panicked and asked us not to. The reason?
Why?
They were worried that they couldn't afford it on a student income. While continuing to dial 999, we had to remind them that life is different in the UK and that they wouldn't be charged for an ambulance coming out to attend to their life-threatening situation. Because, in stark contrast, the American healthcare system is primarily private. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, as of 2023, over 27 million Americans were uninsured and millions more were underinsured. The average annual premium for employer-sponsored family coverage in the US was around $23,000 in 2023. Even these insured individuals typically face co-pays, deductibles, and surprise bills. You can call the ambulance, but you're probably going to have to pay a bill for it. So while you can't breathe, you have to decide, is this really necessary, or should I try and tough it out? And as I've said before in this channel, and the comments will come, I know, the NHS is not actually free because it is paid for by taxation, but it's a much different way of funding the service, and it is free at point of use. As long as you're a citizen or legal resident in the UK with access to public funds, they're not going to look up your tax records before they give you the surgery. And medical bankruptcy is virtually unheard of in the UK, but it's a common issue in the US. A 2019 study published in the American Journal of Public Health found that 66% of US bankruptcies were tied to medical issues, including bills and time lost from work. Now, the next thing on my list is...
oh, jeez. Has mercy. Ooh-wee. This is a big one, and this is a hefty one, and I cannot understand why the US cannot adopt that. Why it cannot happen here in the US. It don't make any sense. But as we all know, it's all about this money. It's all about money. It's a monetary. It's sad that you're here and you rather stay home and die instead of going to get medical care because you know the cost of it's going to be through the roof. It's sad to know that you can't hardly breathe and you're afraid to call. You have to decide whether or not you want an ambulance to pick you up, or you want to take the chances of getting a taxi or getting somebody to run you to the hospital because you know there's a cost associated to it. And you're stressing yourself and wondering, okay, am I going to have to sell my house? Or am I going to be in debt just to go get health care? That's how the US is, and there's no sugarcoating it. And like I said, I cannot understand why US cannot come up with a framework like a lot of these places, like the UK or a lot of these European countries, and in third world countries that do have free health care. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that it is paid for through your taxes, guys. I know it's not necessarily free on free. I've seen a lot of people come my way. It's not free. I know that. I've watched so many videos. I understand. But it's a relief that you can get up and go to the doctor. You don't necessarily have to sit and stress about going to the doctor because you don't have to expect a bill coming in your house. What a relief. Who wouldn't be pleased and happy with that? And for that, I will say the NHS, that's amazing for you guys to have, and do not take it for granted. And the UK is doing right by its citizens. No, I understand that it is not all hanky-dory. It have its hiccups like anything else. But at least you don't have to, because she said, you've never heard anybody having have to worry about mortgaging their house in the UK for just going to the doctor. For major surgery, for having a baby, it doesn't matter what it is. That's amazing. My hats to the NHS. Next thing, I know I'm yapping, but this one gets me every time. It doesn't matter how many times that I hear it. It's just amazing to hear that other countries can do it and America cannot. It just
free university tuition in Scotland for Scottish students.
Aye.
In Scotland, university education is free for Scottish students who attend public universities in Scotland. The Scottish government covers tuition costs through the Student Awards Agency for Scotland, also known as SAAS. So in an academic year, eligible students paid £0 in tuition fees.
Wow.
Now this does differ within the UK, so this is in sharp contrast to England, where tuition fees can reach around £9,000 per year. But comparing it to the USA, college tuition is often extortionate across the pond. According to the College Board, the average annual tuition in the US for public 4-year in-state universities was $10,940, and that is cheap. For private institutions, it exceeded $39,400.
Yep.
Additionally, American students graduate with an average debt of around $30,000, which creates long-term financial burdens. This difference between the US and Scotland in particular illustrates how education policy reflects broader social goals. Scotland views higher education as a public good worth investing in, while in the US, it's often treated as a personal investment in a financial commodity. Now let's talk about bank accounts.
Can you believe that? I love how Scotland look at it. It's going to be the greater good for the country. It's going to with tertiary education. The US, no, it's a personal choice to get up and go put yourself in debt just to make the economy boom, to go get tertiary education. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the stress that these kids are walking out, young babies walking out of college with? To me, when she said, oh, even if private or public there in the UK and it varies in England, that to me is still amazing. To me, that is cheap because a 4-year degree, you end up in $50,000, $60,000. And sometimes you can't even use it. You can't even use it. You can't even find a job. Woo. Oh boy, this is crazy beyond measure. It's sickening to know these young babies. It doesn't walking out of college and they're tied up and stressed out because they have to now worry how they're going to pay back these student loans in order to get tertiary education to help bank accounts. Let's hear this one because I don't know about this one.
In the UK, opening and maintaining a basic current account is typically free. Major UK banks such as Barclays, Lloyds, and HSBC offer accounts with no monthly maintenance fees.
Oh!
You can set up direct debits, use debit cards, and access ATMs across the country at no cost. And this is very common and they're easy to find. These aren't some like hidden deal that you have to find when they come around. In contrast, many American banks charge monthly service fees on checking accounts unless the customer maintains a minimum balance or sets up direct deposits. So there's all kinds of requirements that you have to fulfill. According to Bankrate's 2023 study on the topic, the average monthly maintenance fee for a non-interest-bearing account in the US was $5.14, which amounts to around $60 annually. Overdraft fees in the US also remain steep, with the average fee around $30 per transaction. While some US banks have started offering no-fee accounts, the industry-wide practice of charging for basic banking services is still very common. In this respect, the UK banking system appears to prioritize accessibility and financial inclusion more consistently. Next up is free.
I did not know that your guys having a bank account is free. And like she said, it's not something you have to dig, or it's no deal that they're giving. That's just how it is in the UK. In the US, like she said, you have to pay maintenance fee. I don't get that. You're holding my money. You're using my money to do else because the interest that it can stay. If for majority of the banks, if you have at least $500 in there, you don't have to pay the maintenance fee. But anything under $500, or if you don't have a direct deposit coming in on a monthly basis, or every fortnight, then you have to pay that maintenance fee. Overdraft is the next thing, like $29, $30, and it depends on which bank that you use. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. And majority of banks are like that. I'm still yet to hear of I'm lying. Do I know of any bank that don't have a maintenance fee? I don't. Now that I think about it. But yeah, I don't know. But it's everything. Somebody have to make some money somewhere, somehow. Prescription? Hey!
Prescriptions in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Prescription charges are another area where some UK residents enjoy a benefit that Americans do not. In Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, all prescriptions are free for residents. This policy was introduced in Wales in 2007, Northern Ireland in 2010, and Scotland in 2011, with the goal of removing barriers to medication adherence and public health. In England, prescriptions are not free, but the cost is fixed and is around £9 per item, although many people are exempt, including children, the elderly, pregnant women, and those with certain chronic conditions. This is unheard of in the US. In contrast, prescription costs in the US are highly variable and often excessive. The Commonwealth Fund reported that in 2022, the US had the highest per capita pharmaceutical spending in the world, with the average person spending over $1,200 per year on prescription drugs. The price of insulin in particular has drawn public outrage. While a vial of insulin costs about £25 in the UK, in the US, it can cost up to $300. The UK system reflects a public health approach, while the American model is market-driven, with pharmaceutical companies playing a major role in pricing. Now, cultural access is another area where the
prescription. I did not see that one coming either. Some places you don't pay nothing, zero. $9 is nothing. And then she said, some people are exempt. Pregnant people, kids, elder. I'm like, not in the US, not in a million years. And then prescription will not and will never be free. Not only that, you have to go to the doctor to get certain, or say you're dependent on this prescription every month. And you say, okay, you get 2-3 months supply and you're running out. You have to literally see your doctor in order to get more prescriptions. So you're going to pay a doctor fee. This is crazy to hear. It is sickening that. But like she said, the pharmaceutical companies run things here in the US. Every ad, every turn, every crevice, every corner you turn, everything on the radio you hear, there something is being crazy. Cultural access is the
The
next
UK
word.
excels in providing free resources.
I figured that.
Major national museums in the UK, including the British Museum, the National Gallery, the Natural History Museum, the Museum of Scotland, the list goes on. They offer free general admission.
Crazy!
While they may suggest or ask for donations or charge for special exhibitions, the core collections are open to the public at no cost. By contrast, many leading museums in the US charge entrance fees.
Yes!
For example, admission to the Museum of Modern Art in New York is $25. The Field Museum in Chicago charges $30 for adults. While some American museums do have the occasional free days, these are exceptions typically rather than the norm. And last on my list is free access.
Listen. When you come on to the museum, you're paying. You're going to pay. The zoos, you're paying. I can't understand the maintenance of the zoo, but museums and so forth, you're paying. And the free days that she's mentioning, some of them give it, and it's on special occasion. They're only letting in a certain amount of people free. It's not open to the whole public. No. You have to go into the site, sign up, tell how many people are free, and you gotta have that electronic. You can either print it out or have that email show and say, yeah, because I did it for the zoo. And it's only a certain period of time. And if you don't get it in for those period of time during the block that they're giving it to you free, it's a no-go for you. So that to me in itself, I can never wrap my mind around why it cannot be. All right, would be my suggestion or one way of looking at it, say, okay, let's make kids free. You know, let kids, their imagination run wild in these museums. Let them explore and see new things and have new experiences. So from the age of 0 to, we know baby don't know nothing. Don't get me wrong, but just hear me out, guys. From 0 to 15. So you have all of that window to bring your child to a museum until they hit age 15 and over. You say, okay, you gotta pay. There's no way a parent should complain to me, because you have 15 years in order to go there back and forth. You can go as many times as you want so your kids can have that experience. But there in the UK, it's free. It's free. And majority of these places, you can't take food into it either. You can't sit down and eat. And I think I watched I watched a video where there was a dining area in there where you can eat before you go take a tour. And I'm like, huh? I'm still in shock that majority of your museums are free. It still shocked me, because I'm like, no, ain't happening here. Here's another one. This is gonna about national parks.
Access to nature and national parks. The UK's 15 national parks, including the Lake District and Snowdonia, are open to the public free of charge. There may be parking or facility fees, but there's no general admission charge. You can just go in and enjoy the national park. This policy underscores the idea that nature should be freely accessible to everyone. In the United States, don't get me wrong, the national park system is vast, it's beautiful, it's worth visiting, but access often comes with a fee.
Yes.
As of 2024, entrance to parks like Yosemite, Yellowstone, and the Grand Canyon costs around $35 per vehicle. You can get an America the Beautiful annual pass to national parks, which costs $80. While these funds help with maintenance and preservation, the cost can discourage frequent visits, particularly for low-income families.
Exactly.
Moreover, privatized concessions within U.S. parks often mean higher costs for food, lodging, and tours, where the UK tends to maintain a more open and less commercialized approach. That brings me to the end of this video. Comment below on anything you found surprising. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Bye. Listen, like I said, when it comes on to the prescription, the museums, parks, yeah. That's crazy. I can't understand why America don't have this. I understand that you need to maintain certain places, but then when you go to these parks or these places, guys, when you look at it, the surrounding areas. Like, for instance, you need to stay in a hotel, or you need to do car rental, or you need to eat food. The prices of stuff are through the roof. So it's 10 of one, half dozen of the other when you look at it. It's like there's no balance. You understand me? And I see where the UK is coming from. Like, they rather ask for donations instead of people paying. And yes, a lot of low-income families will not visit or do a lot of these things. A lot of people without insurance is not going to go to the, like I said, they rather stay home and find different home remedies. And a lot of people like coming out of college. Yeah. It's the island girl and I'm running out. Let me know your thoughts on this one, guys. What do you really think about this video? Let's talk about it in the comment section. Be good, be kind, be safe out there. Love you guys, and I'll definitely catch you guys in another video. Really enjoy this one from Girl Gone London. Link in the description below. Don't forget to hit the like and hit the subscribe button if you're new here. And be kind. Bye.